So in my last video I actually talked about the Jacko Whatever Maker Knife. Brilliant little tool. Just spoke about it just briefly, what it was like opening the box and what I feel, how cool this thing is once seeing it in real life. But we're going to do something very perhaps silly with it today. We'll find out. Now the great thing about this thing is having, you know, a sharp blade on to hand, and the way this thing functions, it's just so cool, you can't stop playing with it. However, it's very slippy in the hand, so when you're cutting and stuff, the smooth surface, depending on if you're wearing gloves or where your hands are a bit sweaty or anything like that, it's not a very grippy surface. So I've got a laser machine, and I've been doing some little bits and pieces on Illustrator to trace the outside, and we're going to do something a little bit silly. We'll soon see if it's a good idea or not, so let's get this thing stripped down. So I'm going to strip this down so that when I'm engraving it, I obviously don't want to engrave the screw heads, and we're probably going to try and do a slight deep engraving on this so it gives it a textured surface. And to strip one of these down, you're just going to need a T6, which is a Torx bit, and we're just going to take these screws out. I'm going to keep the ones together for the handle because they're a different size. The handle, the clip, sorry. So they're very shallow threads on these screws. We'll soon see over time how this holds up. And this will be great if you want to see the inside workings of this Maker Knife as well. So take the top plate off, and as you can see, you've got the first adjustment screw here, which latches onto this piece, which is what you use when you push it forward. So the tension there, you can see, is to push it forward, and then as you push the system forward and the blade comes out, that spring clips in there, and then as you're pulling it down, this is like on a spring system. This looks like this very close tolerances there. As you pull this down, it pushes the spring system out of the way and you can move it back. So that's a quick overview on how the Maker Knife system actually works. So let me just have a quick look here close up. Let's zoom this back out. So we're going to want to remove these bits and pieces. So let's see, does this all come out as one piece? It does. And we've just got these sections left. I think that is just an Allen key there. Is it a 2? No, it's going to be a 1.5. Found one. So we're going to remove that screw. And to begin with, we're going to start with this side. Okay, outline, there we go. So that is the outline for, and the Illustrator file on that's not going to be perfect because I literally just use this as an outline to plan the pattern, and then we'll see the pattern here if I pull it in. So you can see it's like a hex design, and what it'll actually engrave is the black hexes. This might be very difficult to see on camera, but we can basically match the outline to the plate. What we do is we use this outline to basically match up the Maker Knife to how big it needs to be. Looks like all the angles and stuff are correct, which was a rough measurement on my part. I think it's pretty much straight. Apply, push it into the centre, and it matches up that entirely, so we can now hatch that, and then we can See if it will light up. Obviously there's a lot of hexes for it to light up, so it's going to go absolutely berserk. But let's hit go and see what happens, I suppose. Put the safety specs on. How cool was that? And it seemed to work out perfectly fine. You've got no burn marks on the table and the gap, and you can see the kind of definition you get off this thing. Superb. So to actually do a deep engrave on this material, it's quite easy because it's aluminium, but we do have to basically run that process like it can anywhere be from 100 to 250 times depending on the hardness of the metal. But we're through the anodizing, and now we can just go ahead. Obviously with the really thin lines in between the hexes, we're not going to want to go too deep because then you're going to have loads of these really little thin parts. What we could actually do is just do the outline and not the hatch. So if I just correct the file, like that, when I hit go, it's going to do the outline, that really fast process you've seen before, but it's going to do it 100 times. So let's see what this does. What it's actually doing, let me just stop that a second. So it's doing each individual one 100 times, which you don't want. There we go. How cool does that look? And that's just doing the outline. Because with the outline, it's not actually going to be doing much because it's such a thin section on each of the hexes, so you're not actually going to feel that. I was hoping it would be a bit quicker doing 100, but obviously not. We only got to about 28. The problem with doing something like this, especially when you're doing deep engraving, is you have got to be 100% certain that part's finished, unless you've got it clamped down or put into a specific vice, which I don't have for this thing. You need to be 100% sure that that part is done before you move it, because there is no way you're going to line that up to such a degree of accuracy that those hexes are going to laser engrave, and you're not going to get some kind of ghost image where the hexes aren't sort of sat up together. So it's kind of just like looking and seeing, will that give me enough grip, which I don't think it will. So I'm going to run this a few times. I'm going to leave the machine to it, probably going to run it I'm going to say about 20 times. Let's do it 20 times and then we'll come back and see what's going on. So I've sped up the feed rate from 1500 millimeters a second up to 5000 millimeters a second. And the great thing about these machines as well is sometimes you could play like a little funky tune on, which I'll just show you now. Might be a little bit hard to hear over the machine next to it, but we'll see how we get on. And you can see the hexes are going much faster this time. And we will come back when this is finished. This is after 20 passes, so I'm going to leave it there. And yeah, there's a definite grip there. You can definitely feel the grooves. A lot more of a grippy surface. Right. Yeah. Not funny, so we've got in. Okay. We are back together. So that's fully assembled now, and as you can see, it gives it more a bit of a distinctive look. You do kind of have to look closer to notice the hex pattern in there, but it's nice. It does exactly what it says on the tin. It's nice and grippy. It's not as slippy as the top now. It's a very difficult thing to portray on camera, but basically the way that the engraving's been done, it's probably took a few thousandths of an inch off. I don't know if you can see that on the camera there, but it provides great grip, gives it a nice cool little texture there, a cool little pattern, makes it unique obviously. And then as they flip the blade out, it's got put the logo on there as well. So I have the files for this. If you have a maker knife and you want this doing, whether you're in the UK or you're worldwide, just get in touch. You can reach me personally at james@bespokeairsoft.co.uk. Link will be in the description below, or the email address will be in the description below. And if you want something like this doing to your maker knife, just give us a shout. We do laser engraving as a service anyway, and this is just an extra template we've got where we can start doing patterns. Obviously you don't have to have a hex pattern if you've got a pattern of choice. We can do that. Obviously there might be a small charge if it's quite extensive to draw up in Illustrator. So thanks for tuning in. Hope this has been a nice interesting video for you. Appreciate a like and a comment down below if you can. If not, dislike and comment down below with whatever floats your boat. But we'll see you in the next video. Cheers guys.